Let's think of power and money and then health. Just think about it. How important is power and money if you don't have your health? Okay? Just to put this in perspective as to what I'm talking about. And my favorite subject really is optimum health. And what I'd like to share with you is some ideas about how you remove the barriers to quality and optimum wellness and health, which is really what this is. How do we facilitate people getting healthier? That's my job as a physician. And the real issue is, you ask anybody, how important is health? Of course, they'll say to you it's extremely important, right? However, do they walk the walk? Do they really prioritize their health? If you ask the average man on a typical day when you make decisions, how often do you think about the health consequences of what you're going to be doing? What you're going to be doing for breakfast or eating or exercise or stress? The average man, based on 1 to 10, probably is at a level 4. I think the average woman is probably at a level 5 or 6. And my goal in my practice, in New York really, is to see if we can raise the level of concern and decision-making from 4 to 6. And that's where Market America comes in. Market America is hopefully a partner in raising your ability to remove the barriers so that you can actually live a quality and healthy life. And that's all that you can try to do as a doctor. And I think to have, a partner in this area is critical. Because when you speak to people about raising their health, what are you talking about? I ask patients who come in, and by the way, we have an amazing center at NYU, and I'm the director of the Center for Men's Health. People come in all the time, both men and women, by the way. And one of the first things I ask them is, so, excuse me, but what did you do to prepare for my checkup? Did you want me to fail you before you start to make some changes? And, and then at the end of the visit, I will say to each of them, and I think it's something you can actually tell some of your clients, what do you plan on doing in the next 6 months to upgrade your health? And maybe some of your products may be part of that upgrade. So it's basically an opportunity to ask patients to take control. Now that's a quick introduction, but I think I wanted to set the stage for why I love some of the products and why I love Market America, because I think they're the partner in this profession. So the first thing is, once again, you have a choice. You can be ill or you can be well. It's a continuum. At one end is optimum wellness, at the other end is illness. But there is a pre-disease state somewhere in the middle. You want to be to the left of that. You don't want to be to the right of that. What can you do to prevent illnesses? Because the reality is, once you are ill, you really have to deal with the medical profession. And as you know, although we do a great job, there's a cost, both financial and personal, for the treatments. When we give you pharmaceuticals, there's no pharmaceutical that I'm aware of that doesn't have some collateral damage. But it's a choice we make. So if you can avoid illness, which is in your category, is something you can do by optimum nutrition and stress management and a modest amount of movement and exercise and sleep, you can shift the pendulum to optimum health. And believe me, there's nothing better than feeling optimally well. There's so many people out there who do not understand the vitality and energy and sexuality of somebody who is well. And I really would only wish that for all of you in the audience. I certainly try to do that for the patients. So what is the choices you have? You either can get treated for your hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, cancer, or you can try to prevent it. Guess which choice would be optimum, right? You want to prevent illness at all costs. And it's not that difficult. 80% of illnesses can be prevented with lifestyle changes, nutrition, exercise, stress management, and sleep. Don't forget about sleep. Sleep is as important as food and water. If you don't sleep, you cannot be well. It's your choice. You know, it'd be really foolish. You know, all of a sudden you have millions of dollars in the bank, and guess what? You can't spend it. That's where Market America comes in. You have a wonderful array of quality, evidence-based products. It's not complicated. Market America is removing the barrier. You don't have to be a PhD to understand that these products are going to enhance your nutrition. If you enhance your nutrition, you're giving your body a chance to be well. If you don't feed the body an adequate amount of nutrients, you cannot be optimally healthy, period. Pycnogenol, one of the ingredients in many of the Market America products. By the way, there are other ingredients, not Pycnogenol, that are evidence-based, that are studied, that are fantastic. But I happen to have had a particular interest in Pycnogenol because of my work with Victor Ferrari and Frank. Because what I like about the product is the research and the ongoing studies. They're not happy with the studies they did yesterday. They're constantly thinking and looking forward. What do we need to do to demonstrate that our product may have value in heart disease or obesity or hypertension? And that's why you should feel confident when you use the products such as the OPC products that you're actually doing something that is worthwhile, that is necessary. 40 years of research. Look at the organs. They left out my favorite organ, of course, but what can I tell you? It's good for the heart, okay? It's extremely important to maintain optimum circulation, all right? If you can circulate blood to your brain, right, you prevent a stroke, and you'll be able to think more clearly. If you do it for your heart, your exercise capacity will improve. Right? If you reduce flow to your gastrointestinal tract, you will get digestive disorders. So blood flow is extremely important. Any product that enhances blood flow, or the cells that line your blood vessels, known as the endothelial cells, are very, very important. And that's where Pycnogenol plays a role. It enhances and improves the cells that feed your blood vessels, believe it or not. All right? And it does so both, you know, blood vessels can be very, very tiny. That's called a microcirculation, or big arteries, the way you measure somebody's blood pressure. And Pycnogenol and OPC3 play a role in both the large and small blood vessels. And they've done plenty of studies to actually show that you can improve the health of what we call the endothelial cells. I don't expect all of you to understand this slide, but the important point is that there's enough data that validates the idea that OPC3 and that Pycnogenol in particular is important for endothelial health. The bottom line is circulation is clearly very important, whether it's to your brain, your gut, or to your sexual organs. Without the blood flow, they're not going to function at the highest level. But let's go on to another subject. And one of the biggest problems in America today is obesity. And by the way, you can go to shop.com and order my book, right? Fighting Fat. So very much appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. So the bottom line is when you have abdominal fat in particular, you put yourself at risk for diabetes and heart disease. If you also have abdominal central fat and your cholesterol is high and your blood pressure is high and you have borderline blood sugar, that's referred to as the metabolic syndrome, all right? And there have been several articles now, how do we reduce the likelihood of the metabolic syndrome progressing to diabetes and hypertension and things like that. And there's some very good studies on the use of antioxidants, and in particular Pycnogenol, in improving the metabolic syndrome to ultimately require you to take less medicine. Not necessarily to eliminate it, but to remove the amount. Once again, less medicine, less collateral damage, better. And maybe you might even be lucky enough that ultimately you can reverse the entire process, where you start to lose some weight, where your cholesterol and triglycerides go down, where you no longer need insulin. And that's the goal. The goal, in treating patients is to take medicines away. A great doctor takes the medicines away because you don't need them. We don't take them away because you're ill. It's because we've helped you lose the weight. There was an article that I published this actually today at NYU saying that my own personal feeling, if I can't help you lose weight, I don't feel I'm doing a good job as a doctor. So I think that's going to be the new chapter, and the new chapter for all the medical profession. Weight is a critical factor and very, very difficult to manage. Improve nutrition, optimize nutrition, improve sleep, you have a chance. Okay? Well, you know something? There are so many articles now that are being written about OPC3 and Pycnogenol because there is accumulating data that it's helpful for conditions such as the metabolic syndrome. It's funny for me to look at the newspapers, and I laugh all the time. All of a sudden, you see an article that Pycnogenol is better than aspirin. Whether it is or not, who cares? But the point is, there are people who are actually writing about the product because they've seen a study that shows that Pycnogenol had advantages over aspirin. One very simple one. If you take aspirin enough, guess what you're going to do? You're going to get a stomach bleed, right? If you take Pycnogenol, that's just not going to happen. And if Pycnogenol also helps your blood vessels and stickiness, not a bad idea. So it may actually be the truth, okay? But you're going to see a lot of studies about its use in aspirin, about its use in obesity, it's about its use in cholesterol. And I think that there is some reality to this, And I think that it should make you feel good that there's so many eyes looking at your products and the ingredients in your products, and they are being validated. So I think that, in the end, you've got a wonderful array of health-promoting products. Optimum health, optimum wellness is the most you could give to any of your family members or any of your friends, and it's what makes the medical profession such a fantastic profession and something that I love doing every day. So thank you all very much. I wish you all the best.